back, Scott Ferrell Show. Thank you so much for being part of my day. Got one of the best up and coming. It's amazing. Overnight success means I put in 20 years, and then all of a sudden somebody figured out that I do music. Kind of like in radio and TV too. Gabriel Bello is one of the best up and coming jazz artists in the country. One of the best I've heard, not because he's my friend. Again, I had to go see him one time, and then I was blown away. And now I've been twice in the last 2 months, and I will continue to go. GabrielBelloMusic.com is where you get his schedule, his bio, a little quick peek at all the things he's been able to do. Gabriel, thank you so much for being part of the show. Is Gabriel with us? Here's the great thing about doing live shows. If something goes wrong, it's out there for everybody to see. If we'll get Gabriel back on the line. But I am telling you, I love jazz. I've loved jazz since I was a kid. And I've been able to listen to some of the most premier jazz artists in the world, and I've traveled around from arena to arena to see them. And earlier this year, I got invited by Gabriel to come by to one of his shows. And I'm like, okay, we'll give this a legitimate chance, because I know he does the Stevie Wonder experience too, because he's a Stevie Wonder impersonator. And then I went to the show. First song, wow. Second song, wow. Third song, wow. I got to where I just stopped wowing. And it was 2.5 hours of, wow, I cannot believe this is going on. Have we got Gabriel back yet? Nope, okay. So I'm sitting there, and he's got this band he's put together. Some of the coolest dudes, because we'll go back to the back and hang out with them in the green room for the show. And these guys are from just about every walk of life. You got a guitarist, keyboarder, you got the drummer, and they're all jazz artists. And they all bring something unique to the situation. And you sit down and talk to them and you go, wow, we've got so many talented musicians here, and we don't know about all of them. And then we got to hear them play that night, and we're ready to go. All right, Gabriel's back with us?
Yes.
Okay, Gabriel, thank you so much. All right, you're back with me. I'm sitting here talking about your band and how cool your band is, and how smooth you guys sound when you're out doing shows.
They are cool and they are smooth. That is true.
Oh my gosh. While I'm on that topic, we're going to get back to how you got here and your jazz album and what you're doing with Stevie Wonder. But I do want to talk about the guys in the band, because you were here in the Atlanta area recently, and we got to come back and hang out with the fellas. When you guys put that band together, what was the key? What were you looking for from guys? Now, these guys are extremely talented. What was the glue, though? What was the magic when you said, hey, I want you to be part of my group?
It's a combination of drive, mentality, talent, and professionalism, because there's a lot of talented guys
right
out here that, they don't know how to make a call time, like you say, hey, we need you here at
right.
10:20 and 11:30. They're, hey, I'll be there in 10 minutes, and you're like, yeah, you're fantastic, but I can't use you anymore, I've heard story after story, and that cat say, oh my goodness, you're amazing, and producers that, hey, we need this in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
A month later, they're like, yeah, man, I'm still working on it. I'll get it to you in a week. And it's like, you're already 6 weeks past due. And they, so yeah, everybody in that crew is not only incredibly talented, but, they're dependable. As you know, man, talent, unfortunately, is a dime a dozen. There's a lot of cats that can do a lot of cool things.
Oh, yeah.
But, can they deliver on the deadline? Are they clutch? Can you give me what you can do when I need it?
Oh, yeah. So, I remember my days of performing now. I was stage, and I always wanted to be you. I always wanted to be the cool jazz guy, not the guy that sounded like Mel Torme that was stuck on a stage somewhere. But the great thing
well, you guys make more money, though.
Okay, that is true. But I wanted to sound like Mick Jagger, not Mel Torme. And the great thing is about us is you miss one call time, you're done. You're fired on the spot. And I know with a lot of bands, and you even hear the famous bands going, dude, just show up for work.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Now, you've picked your band. Now, let's get back into you. Now, you got some fairly large awards in the last, 4 or 5 years for your art performance. Now I said Grammy, and I was wrong. That's coming though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on the way.
It's on the way, brother. What was the award that you got? Fairly prestigious award.
Yeah, I got an award from CSAC, which is my PRO, my performing rights organization. It's kind of like BMI and ASCAP.
Right.
There was one of the biggest. It's actually the oldest PRO, and so I got an award for sales. Because my jazz album, my first record, did very, very well, and I didn't get anything like official from Billboard, but I mean,
right.
I wish I could have, because I mean, 11 consecutive weeks. Number one on the top of the charts is pretty, that's especially in jazz, but really in any form of music. I mean, if an R&B or a pop act would have done that, I mean, that's the type of stuff that that they'll put next to your name for the rest of your life. I mean, they talked about that with Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston. When Whitney Houston beat, I think it was Elvis's record. I can't remember how many weeks she had, whatever. Number one on radio. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's funny because Thomas Baylor, Tommy was supposed to be on the show last week, and he got sick and he couldn't talk. He had laryngitis, so you call up and he's got no voice. He arranged all of Michael Jackson's albums, and he's
oh wow,
he's going to be on next week, and he talks about same deal. It's funny to hear you and Tommy talk about the same things. Music business is a music business, and the great thing is number one in jazz, and it's number one in smooth jazz charts. Jazz is one of my favorite genres of music, and you think about some of the guys that who have followed. It's funny. Patricia actually knew Russ Freeman from the Rippingtons.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. She's had dinner at his house, and Patricia, for you that don't know, is my wife, and her ex-husband, of all things, grew up with him, and he's one of my faves, and the Rippingtons are one of my favorite groups. And
that's one of those records that we, when the band's going down the road, I'll put on. I think it's called Sahara.
Yes.
And I mean, I just love that song, man. It's an amazing tune. The guys, a couple of the other guys, I grew up listening to that entire record, right. And I'm like, man, I never could get past this song.
I mean, it jams. Now, I'm looking at your resume. Here's the funny thing about friends. If you guys have ever interviewed your friends, you don't ever read their resume ever. You only what's up, man? You know your buddies is your buddy. And you never look at what they've accomplished. And I was reading through yours today for the first time, and I noticed a couple names here. One, Rascal Flatts, Kelly Pickler, and Carrie Underwood. Okay, what's up? What's up with the Rascal Flatts? Were you actually working with those guys?
Yeah, I got to play a couple times with them in Nashville. Not anything like a formal big thing, but they just kind of walked in and like, hey, keep don't go anywhere, just stay up here and play with us. So like getting to play a set with those monsters. And it's funny because then a friend of mine ended up in their band last year for their tour last year,
right? And
I got to meet the guys all over again. And I mean, I didn't like, hey, you remember me? I was just like, hey guys, nice to see you. And I got to hang out backstage and hang out in the bus. Those are incredible musicians. Jay DeMarcus, he's a Church of God boy, and my goodness, he's a ball of talent. Amazing guys.
And I don't ride around looking at country music all the time. I'm more of a Merle Haggard kind of guy back from those days.
So is my father-in-law.
Oh yeah, but Rascal Flatts, I've always respected these guys. When I saw that, I was like, wow. And then when we get back from break, I want you to tell me the Carrie Underwood, Kelly Pickler story. Also, Gabriel, I'm gonna brag on you here for a second. You got to keep in mind, when Gabriel went number one for smooth jazz, the guy he unseated was Michael Bublé. I think that's a pretty good guy to knock off a pedestal. If you equate this in the pop stars, this would have been the equivalent of Gabriel taking down Michael Jackson, which is absolutely amazing. Now we're getting ready to roll to break. Gabriel, your website's GabrielBelloMusic.com, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Gabriel, just like the angel, BELLO music.com.
All right. What I want to make sure is everybody knows, and we're going to go to break here in just a second, how to find you in concert. Gabriel puts on one of the best live shows I've ever seen. Now, when we get back, we're going to talk about his career, his music, and his incredible relationship with his Savior, and how that one relationship saved Gabriel's life. I'm Scott Ferrell. Go ahead and go by Facebook, like our page, check out what's coming up. Also, you can go by my website, scottferrell.com. When we get back, more Gabriel Bello, and you're going to hear what God can do in your life and the miracle that He can bring. We'll be right back.
The 50-50 sale is back at Schottenkirk Ford. 50 trucks must go in the next 50 hours. Shop over 250 trucks in stock and starting as low as $79.95. And there's several more on the lot just like it. Yes, 50 trucks must go, and not just Fords. We have all the best makes and models. You have 50 hours to cash in on huge savings. Don't miss our 50-50 sales event at Schottenkirk Ford in Jasper. Online at SchottenkirkFordJasper.com.
While the best athletes gather to compete, the rest of us gather to eat. Pizza Hut's Big Flavor Dipper is here. Almost 2 feet of pizza with 4 flavorful dipping sauces. Big enough to feed the whole team for a small price, just $12.99. The Big Flavor Dipper Pizza, only at Pizza Hut.
El Rey and Ellijay.
El Rey Mexican Restaurant.
Family owned and operated, and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey and Ellijay.
Introducing Pizza Hut's first $5 flavor menu. Just $5 each when you order 2 or more. Say yes to a medium 1-topping pizza. Yes to Wing Street Wings. Yes to new stuffed garlic knots. And much more. It's easy to say yes to our first ever $5 flavor menu. Only at Pizza Hut.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
The summer sell-down is on at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. And if you like to save, the time is now. Get a brand new Chevy Malibu for just $19,700. Loaded Silverado Crew Cab LT, just $33,500. Or a new 2017 Equinox from just $23,700. Days has bonus savings on every new Chevy. But time is running out. Don't miss the summer sell-down at Days Chevrolet in Jasper.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
I'm Sheriff Dane Kirby, and I'll stand up for you.
I'm Stacy Nicholson, Sheriff of Gilmer County, and I will stand up for you.
Stand up and speak out. No matter how rich, cool, talented you believe yourself to be, how you treat people ultimately tells all. I am Allison Sosby, District Attorney, and I'll stand up for you.
Welcome back, Scott Ferrell Show. Thank you so much for being part of my day. If you're just tuning in, my guest is Gabriel Bello. Yes, you've heard that name in the jazz circle because he was #1 on the Billboard charts. He replaced Michael Bublé. That is like taking Michael Jackson off the chart on pop and saying, I am #1 now. Also, he is part of the Stevie Wonder Experience, the best tribute band that I think I have ever seen. Recently in Atlanta, I had a chance to check him out. So even though he's my buddy, I still got to go to the show and go, oh, wow, this is one of the best groups I've ever seen. Gabriel, thank you so much for sticking around.
No problem.
All right, we talked about this. Now, we talked about something at the break, and I want to bring this up. You were almost, I mean, it's all those almost moments. You were almost the director for Carrie Underwood and Kelly Pickler. Tell us the story behind that.
Yeah, man. It's one of those. One thing leads to another. I met a guy. That sounds like Ocean's 11. I know a guy. But no, I was meeting with the vice president of BMI, and he was checking out my music, getting to know me, and he was just really impressed with what I could do and all that I was doing on my own. And he knew Chris Oglesby, who was then the starting 19 Management. 19 Management is the company that did American Idol, did Idol and all those shows. They were opening their office because, Carrie Underwood, was about to win and blah, 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 blah. So they needed a music director to put a band together for it. And he thought I could knock that out the park. So after they interviewed about 30 people, and I met with the guys from London, a couple really cool guys that have done, a million things with everybody. It came down to me and this one other guy, and the other guy had more experience with doing television appearances, and he was a little bit older. I was only 24 years old at the time, and in the world, they look at a 24-year-old as somebody that's just going to go out there and party and not have a bunch of sense. But I was a 24-year-old church boy, cancer survivor, that was moving up the ranks in the industry. So the London office really wanted me. Nashville kind of preferred the good old boy system, and it's funny because the guys that they ended up firing a month after they hired him. So, but that was kind of, and that's how I got the Kelly Pickler thing to sit down for that process too. But I just left Nashville, and that's why I didn't get that position.
Wow, unbelievable! Because this was at the age of 24, and you and I have been in the music business. I'm in my 50s now, so it's been a long time. I started singing when I was 3. But I didn't have the talent you had. I could only do it vocally. You can do it every way possible. Now, you've got some shows coming up. Anything coming up in the U.S. right now that people can go out and see in the next month or so?
Oh, absolutely. They can go to my website, GabrielBellomusic.com, and every date that I do with any of myself as a jazz artist or my Stevie Wonder tribute band, Natural Wonder, or even the other bands that I work in as a sideman, everything's up on the calendar. I'm going to be in California next week. Northern California for 3 dates, and then I'm also going to be in Southern California for 1 date. So we're going to be in Walnut Creek, Lincoln Hills or Lincoln City, something like that, Mill Valley, and then Playa Vista, which is 20 miles southeast of L.A. So doing the Stevie Wonder tribute shows, going to be in Vegas, going to be in Ohio, Pennsylvania. We're going to be all over, here in the next 2 months. August is a very, very busy month for us, August and September. Right. So, yeah, they just go to the website and, find me on Facebook, and, that stuff, automatically shoots that out as well. If they subscribe to my mailing list, they'll get automatic updates of when our shows are, and I think it actually does it according to where they live, right, which is really cool. So all they have to do is put their email address in there. I don't spam people. They don't get stuff every day. They don't get stuff every week, I'm kind of bad about that, but I like to only share the really important stuff. So like when I'm going to do a new record or an album release concert, that's the kind of stuff that I put in there. So it's not, hey, how you doing? Come do this and that, 4 times a day.
Oh, yeah, I understand that. Now, I want to ask you this, and we're leading up to the greatest miracle that ever happened in your life. Who's the coolest artist, or there's some cool artists that you've gotten to work with that was just amazing?
Oh, yeah, man. There's a lot of cats. I think Pamela Stanley. She was a disco queen. Had a big tune in the late '70s, early '80s called "Coming Out of Hiding."
Oh yeah.
She had a song on what was the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where he went undercover in the Chicago mob.
I just watched it 3 weeks ago, and now I can't remember the name of it. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but she had a song in that, and I've got to do a lot of work for her, and now she's Auntie Pam. She's an amazing woman, man. She's in her 60s now. She doesn't look it, but she's still out there touring and doing shows all over the place. She plays piano. She writes. She was a big inspiration for me, kind of getting my feet wet in the industry and starting to earn my stripes, because she's been there and done that, right. So to sit with an artist like that she can do everything herself too. I mean, she can record, she can write, she can sing, she can play. She knows exactly what she wants. I got to work on 2 or 3 projects with her so far. Wow. So really, really amazing artist. And then, there's a laundry list of people I could probably go down and people I've produced, but, there's only limited time on the show.
Right, yeah. My goal was always to work with Donna Summer. Was in love with her. I had the poster Donna Summer on my wall as a kid.
Nice.
And I always wanted to work with her. Now, with the future, you've got the Stevie Wonder tribute band, and you guys are phenomenal. What do you see the future holding for you?
Hopefully, I'd like to see my schedule be about half Stevie Wonder shows, half Gabriel Bello shows. I've told my agent if I can do about 50 to 70 Stevie Wonder shows, and 50 to 70 Gabriel Bello shows a year, that's a full calendar. Between that and producing other artists, my schedule's full. My bills are paid. My daughter gets to go to college. Pending there's still colleges and all that stuff here in 15 to 17 years. But I want to do the road as much as I can while I'm still young enough to do it and enjoy it, so that when I get older, I can really pick and choose and say, yeah, I don't want to do that show. I don't want to go over here and do that, or I want to go play that because I want to go do that television show, even though the money's not good, but it's TV. So as opposed to a lot of cats that they have to take everything that comes down the pipeline. Because they have no retirement plan, they're not thinking ahead. They're very much the grasshopper, not the ant. I want to be the ant. Plan for the winter.
Yeah, I look at the rock bands my age, and that would be Def Leppard, Styx, and I'm like, how in the world do they keep touring? I know how tough travel is for me, and I can't imagine sitting in a bus on a bunk bed at my age with a bunch of dudes I've been touring with for 30 years. And you guys travel too, but you got a cool group. I hanging out with you guys. I got to see how cool your group is, so I can see why y'all enjoy the time together, and also enjoy the break away from each other. Because everybody's got families. Yeah, everybody's got to go home and rejuvenate to get back on the road.
Yep, and sometimes we won't do a show for 2 to 4 weeks and feel like, oh my goodness, I feel like I haven't seen you in half a year, because everybody kind of goes back into their own lives, doing their own things. And honestly, with a couple of them, I'm actually trying to help them build other things that they can be doing to bring in, resources. Guys that can produce and guys that can play, and like, hey man, do this so you can make some money, some different money on the side, and you're not always having to wait for that phone to ring for somebody else to play for. Because that's very difficult for musicians with there being so few opportunities that pay anything decent. It's tough being a working musician these days, whereas, 30 years ago, you could work as much or as little as you wanted to and make a good living.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the business has definitely changed. It's changed for us, too. I remember when I first started in this, and that was a little over 10 years ago. It's a different business now, and you always have to make sure you adjust and adapt and adapt to this. Let me go ahead and give that website one more time, GabrielBelloMusic.com. Gabriel, they can find copies of your CDs on there, correct?
Yeah, there's a store in there with links to all my albums, and if they've got iTunes account or Google Play or then go to CD Baby, they can go to Amazon. Really, just about anywhere music is sold, and I think even my first CD is available even on Best Buy and some of the bigger retailers. So.
You made Best Buy? Wow.
Yeah, the first CD had fantastic distribution, and there's still a possibility that my new jazz album might get distribution through Blue Note. So I'm playing. I'm working hard to earn that from them. Because to be Blue Note, that means you're with Jazz Royalty.
Oh yeah. Oh
so,
my gosh. All right, as we go to break, I want everybody to know GabrielBelloMusic.com. Go ahead and go by there. You want to give this a chance because it's some of the best jazz music I've ever heard. Now, when we get back, Gabriel's going to be with us for one more segment. And in that segment, Gabriel's going to tell you about the power of God, what the healing power of Christ can do, and how it can change your life instantaneously. Amazing story, a miracle story, and it's a story that you don't want to miss, and it can change your life immediately. I am Scott Ferrell. Thank you so much for being with us. If you have any comments or questions for me or for Gabriel, 706-889-9700 or questions at ScotFerrell.com. Gabriel Bello is the guest. He'll be with me after the break, and he's going to tell you how God can change your life. I'll be right back.
50/50 sale is back at Schottenkirk Ford. 50 trucks must go in the next 50 hours. Shop over 250 trucks in stock and starting as low as $79.95. And there's several more on the lot just like it. Yes, 50 trucks must go, and not just Fords. We have all the best makes and models. You have 50 hours to cash in on huge savings. Don't miss our 50/50 sales event at Schottenkirk Ford in Jasper. Online at SchottenkirkFordJasper.com.
While the best athletes gather to compete, the rest of us gather to eat. Pizza Hut's Big Flavor Dipper is here. Almost 2 feet of pizza with 4 flavorful dipping sauces. Big enough to feed the whole team for a small price, just $12.99. The Big Flavor Dipper Pizza, only at Pizza Hut.
El Rey and Elijah.
El Rey Mexican Restaurant.
Family owned and operated, and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey and Elijah.
Introducing Pizza Hut's first $5 flavor menu. Just $5 each when you order 2 or more. Say yes to a medium one-topping pizza. Yes to Wing Street Wings. Yes to new stuffed garlic knots. And much more. It's easy to say yes to our first ever $5 flavor menu. Only at Pizza Hut.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Elijah. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
The summer sell down is on at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. And if you like to save, the time is now. Get a brand new Chevy Malibu for just $19,700. Loaded Silverado Crew Cab LT, just $33,500. Or a new 2017 Equinox from just $23,700. Days has bonus savings on every new Chevy. But time is running out. Don't miss the summer sell down at Days Chevrolet in Jasper.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
I'm Sheriff Dane Kirby, and I'll stand up for you.
I'm Stacy Nicholson, Sheriff of Gilmer County, and I will stand up for you.
Stand up and speak out. No matter how rich, cool, talented you believe yourself to be, how you treat people ultimately tells all. I am Allison Sosby, District Attorney, and I'll stand up for you.
Welcome back to Scott Ferrell Show. My guest is Gabriel Bello. GabrielBelloMusic.com is the destination that you've got to find if you love music, especially jazz, or you want some inspiration. Maybe you're thinking, man, what's God going to do with my life? Go by this website. Go ahead and download his music, and you'll understand why God is needed in your life. Gabriel, thank you so much for sitting with us.
Yeah, nope, my joy.
All right, Gabriel, I talk about on the show all the time, purpose, plan, direction. Were we created or not? You've got a very specific story about what God and Christ can do in a person's life.
Absolutely, man. Well, you know, to give you the cliff notes, and your viewers can actually, you had our pastor Alan Didio on the show, right?
I have.
Yeah, so they can go on and they can watch his full interview of me just talking about my testimony. Just put in like Gabriel Bello cancer, and it'll come up. But yeah, I'm a cancer survivor, and it's not one of those things where I took treatment and the treatment fixed me. I took treatment that didn't work, that was killing me, and through a miracle of God, I was healed, and the cancer was completely wiped from my body. And even it's funny, I often wondered why I had to endure the chemotherapy if God was going to heal me. And it was because he wanted to show how powerful he was, because when you go through chemo, you're not supposed to have kids, and that was a very awkward conversation to have with a doctor in front of my parents at 19 years old. And I told the doctor and got upset, but, it's funny the power of words, because I told the doctor, I said, if God wants me to have kids, I will have kids. I'm not doing this, go and make a deposit at the bank, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And sure enough, my wife and I, we had a baby 2 years ago. She's 2.5 years old, and she's a miracle, and she's beautiful, and she's smart, and she's healthy, and it's my daily reminder, on top of the scars from the surgeries I've had, that God is who He says He is, and He's faithful.
Yeah. Now, do you have a picture of your family on the website?
I don't, actually. I don't.
All right. If you see a lady who's absolutely beautiful and she has purple hair, that's Gabriel's wife. She is one of the coolest. She actually.
Yeah, they can see her. They can see her on my Instagram. If they go to my Instagram at Gabriel Bello Music.
Yeah, because I have purple hair too during certain parts of the year, and every time I see her, I'm like, man, I got to come up here and have you do my hair. And it's funny because I get my hair done across the street from Gabriel's wife's salon in Cornelius, North Carolina, which is 4.5 hours from where I taped this show. Actually, it's 5.5 from where I taped this show. So I'll drive up, get my hair done for 2 hours, and turn back around and drive back to Atlanta. But it's that important. Now, Gabriel, with that, you've got some albums that go along with that. Will you tell me a little bit about that and how people can find those?
Yeah, absolutely. When I found out that my wife was pregnant, there was a track that I'd written. I'd composed a piece of music, and I didn't feel like it needed to be instrumental.
Right.
And when I found out she was pregnant, I wrote the song Miracle, and that became an album. It also includes a song that I wrote while I was going through chemotherapy. Literally halfway through the process, I wrote this song called Grace is Sufficient, or His Grace is Sufficient.
Right.
So it's a great collection of, it's gospel music, but it is incredibly inspiring, inspirational, encouraging, and anointed. I mean, I have people that have suffered from manic depression that listen to that music, and they say when they're listening to that music, the depression goes away. Any of their anxiety just instantly disappears. And then the next record I wrote after the baby was born was called God's Not True. And that just, says it all in itself. That whole group of songs is incredibly, it'll just bless your soul. It'll really bless you. So, and then the last one that I did is called New Day. And, there's always something new for God, for us to do. And that's my new jazz record. It's all instrumental. I don't sing a lick on it. So if you just want to have something that's instrumental, there's a lot of great tunes on there. I mean, I get messages all the time of people, just on YouTube that find me from all the different ways they can find me from, Instagram or Twitter, and because there's lots of different internet radio stations, because jazz isn't played on FM. It's very few stations now in the country, that play them. A lot of college radio stations that don't report, and then tons of internet stations. And I get stuff all the time of, oh my gosh, I found you on, what and whatnot, and I love this song, and I'm playing it all the time. And I'm like, well, get the whole record and play the whole thing. There's more good music where that came from.
Yeah, I'll give you this. I listen to very few CDs anymore, and I've got 3 in my car now. One, Keith Leone, a buddy of mine who used to work with the guys from Jesus Christ Superstar on Broadway. All right, that's one CD. And then I've got 2 of yours. And
awesome.
I drive. I don't live where I film. So I live closer to Atlanta. So I've got to drive to my studio. And I've got an hour one way. And I've got yours in there, Keith's in there. And so it's still my buddies that I'm still listening to. So I got you, I got Keith, and I got Ozzy Osbourne. What a group. I got to have the Ozzy. I got to have some Sabbath on the way up here. It gets me pumped up for the show. But I love the CDs. It's the jazz style that I love, and I'm a big Bobby Caldwell fan. And,
Yeah, man.
And Michael Franks, even though Michael can't sing.
Michael Franks, dude. Yeah.
I love that jam and Boney James and you got that groove. There's a groove in jazz that if you hit that groove, everybody starts moving. And the night we saw you guys perform in Charlotte, you guys hit a groove. And I haven't seen many places come alive like that place. And y'all hit that groove and it was over. And then I saw you in Atlanta. Even with the Stevie Wonder guys, y'all got this groove. Now with the Stevie Wonder group, you look just like Stevie. And in the time we've got left, will you talk about the policeman who stopped you and he thought he was getting Gabriel Bello, but he got Stevie Wonder?
Yeah, that was the in Chicago. We had just done the WGN Thanksgiving Day parade, that nationally aired on television, and I was, I'm driving because I own the van, and I don't really sleep on the tour, so I just like to drive. So there's cops everywhere, and everything is lots of roped off stuff. And even though we have clearance and we have access, there's still only certain places you can go. So we were trying, basically, the musicians were on one side of the parade,
right,
and I was on the other, because that's where they told us we had to park. So I was like, we can't wait for a 3-hour parade to get our gear across the street. We got to get on back to North Carolina. It's a 13-hour drive. And so they finally got us across, but the police officer came up, and he was kind of startled because, there I am in my Stevie garb and wig and glasses, and and I said, hey, when my band finally came up, I said, officer, you've got to stay here. We've got to get a picture. So, I put my hands out like he was going to cuff me, and he did the Dikembe Mutombo, no. Yeah, it was hilarious. And funnier, we were driving down, and we were all just hyped from being on television and excited, and we just started doing this like off the cuff. I wish, just everybody singing it and beatboxing and doing all the different parts. And we got to the, bum, 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 and I look at this guy walking across the street where we stopped at the red light, and I said, Stevie Wonder's driving. And he said his eyes, he turned like 2 shades of white, because he thought a blind guy was driving the van. He was like, whoa! And then the light turned green and we pulled out.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I can imagine.
We died. I actually have that on, I think I still have that video. I'll have to send it to you.
Wow. Yeah, when we were at the show for Stevie Wonder Experience, I know what you look like. I see you all the time. You're a friend of mine. And I saw you on stage. I was like, oh, wow, he really does look like Stevie Wonder.
We found that out when I did my first photo shoot. I had some glasses, and the photographer just took a couple shots, and she said, oh, my goodness, do you realize you look like Stevie Wonder? I said, and then I looked at a couple shots. I was like, oh, wow, I really do.
When you guys get on stage, it's one thing to look like the band and to do the songs, but you guys sound like Stevie Wonder. It is crazy. If you close your eyes, it's kind of like the new lead singer for Journey. You can interchange you and Stevie.
Yep.
And you guys kick it. And the great thing is, when you get a band, it's what I love about Ted Nugent's band. They're tight. And when you hear you guys, you're tight. And there's nothing worse than hearing a band that's not. And
yeah, I can't stand sloppy.
Oh, no. And you guys get on stage, and it's tight. And if you ever get a chance to go see Gabriel's band, Stevie Wonder Experience, it's an experience. And it's probably one of the coolest, because they go back to a time period when music was great. And the way you guys perform it, it's absolutely wonderful. Now, we got about a minute left. Here's what I'd like for you to go out with. Is there something you want to tell people about what God can do in their lives?
He can do everything he says in his word he can do. He is true to his word. He does not make empty promises. His promises are conditional, but only on our part. On our part.
Oh yeah.
When the word of God says, if you, I will. If you, I will.
All right.
And
thank you so much.
that has been my life experience. And it's just what the Bible says. He doesn't lie. He's not a man that he should lie, as he says in his word.
Sweet. All right, Gabriel Bello is my guest. Go by GabrielBellomusic.com. Pick up some of the best music you're ever going to hear, either in the jazz world or the gospel world. It will be a blessing. Remember, I got the CDs in my car. To make my car, you got to be a phenomenal musician. I am Scott Ferrell. I'm going to do the mailbag when we get back. If If you have any questions for me, questions at scottferrell.com, or you can send us a text, 706-889-9700. If you got a question for me, only scottferrell.com. I'll be right back.